Welcome back to the playground, and we're glad to have you. We're glad to see you coming back to take a look and see how the build progress is going. Today we're going to install the headset on the Tandem. We're going to show you how to press an old school cup and bearing headset into the frame. So stay tuned and see how that process goes. It's a lot different than the new modern bearings that you just drop right into the frame itself. So stick around and see how we do that here on Hemingway's Playground. Welcome to Hemingway's Playground. Please like and subscribe. All right, so what we're going to use this Wolftooth Performance headset, the EC34L or 34 lower. The 34 is the spacing for the old inch and an eighth standard non-tapered headset. So we're going to throw this headset race on there and then press in the headset into the frame at this point and then go from there. All right, so we're going to use our scale to take a weight of the headset. Headset is 92 grams for the headset top and bottom. Let's see, no, 93 now. Could be lighter, but not the worst. All right. Now we're going to look at putting it on the bike or installing the headset. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this headset race off of the fork. Most modern forks have the headset race built into the fork, but these older forks, the headset race is actually a sleeve that slides down the fork and gets pressed in here, and the headset bearing rests on this race. So the new headset we have has a headset race designed for that specific headset. So we need to remove this one and then eventually press that one on here. First off, what we're going to do is get this one off. So let's take a look at how that's going to work. Essentially, there's some marks right here on the fork that show where someone has kind of done this already. Basically, you put a flathead screwdriver in here and hit it with a hammer to get it down in there flush, and then you pry it loose and you just work that all the way around. So we're going to do that, and instead of doing it in our stand here, because it kind of wobbles and we hit it with a hammer, it's going to absorb all the impact. We're going to do it on the ground, on the concrete floor here in my basement. All right, so I've looked around at the race, and actually it looks like the race has a little bit more spacing on the back side. So I'm going to use that side. I put some rags down on the ground to help protect the fork and the paint of the fork from getting scratched up from the floor. We're going to give this a few whacks and see what happens. Got our flathead screwdriver here, and just going to try to get under the race. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I'm getting a gap under there. It's moving off my rags here. Back. Now we got that more far up. I'm going to come from the other side. Work the same thing. And there she is. Coming right off. That's that race off. Can't say that any real damage was sustained to that, so that's good. I thought maybe a little bit of the seal is damaged, but not bad. Clean this up and get ready for the new one. So I just pulled the headset race out of the packaging, and it's kind of interesting. I'm sure you're not going to be able to see it on camera because it's so fine of a detail, and I don't really have a very good zoom on my camera, but it's got two seals on it, which is pretty cool. So that's going to make it a little bit better performing, keeping moisture out of the bearings and keeping the dust out, particularly being on a gravel tandem. That'll be very helpful. So one little unique thing that I saw that I thought I would share is it's dual sealed to help protect the bearings even more. So let's get it on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to grease up where it goes on here on the race area. We'll drop it in and then we'll pound it on with a special tool that I have. And we'll come back at that point. So I've just put a nice thin layer of grease right around where the race will start fitting snug on here. You probably can't see it on camera, but the steer tube comes down and about 3/4 of an inch above the race seating face here, the steer tube flares out about, I don't know, maybe a millimeter or two. And the race is designed to fit snugly on that portion. So I'm going to take our race, I'm going to drop it on there. Just like so. You see how it stopped and got snug right there? That's where it fits snugly on it. And then I got a little piece of wood here so we are less likely to damage our dropouts. Set it on here like so. We've got a tool that actually is homemade out of PVC. Drop it on here. Should fit right on the race just about perfectly. And we hit that PVC with a hammer. Just making sure that it's going on the way it's supposed to and not any inappropriate way. That actually went on very easily. Good to go, just like that. Clean up any extra grease off of there, and be done. All right, here we are in the headset install. First thing we're gonna do is wipe out the inner ring of the steer tube here. I'm gonna do the top and the bottom. Just got a little bit of cleaner. I think this actually just might be water. Spray it on the rag a little bit and just wipe that out. Make sure all the gunk and grime is out of there. Same thing on the bottom. We're going to take our headset pieces and put a little layer of grease on them. I'm probably using grease that's a little too nice for this, but I'd rather use nice stuff on camera than the really bad stuff that I would probably use otherwise. I have some generic automotive grease that I've been known to use on installation of parts, not moving parts, not like bearings or anything like that, but just parts that need a little bit of something to give it some lubrication while it is installed. Again, just a little itty bitty layer, thin layer of high quality grease. And you know what? Probably a good idea to put a little bit on the inside as well. Again, it doesn't have to be a lot, but just enough to coat it, just so it goes in easy and comes out easy as well. Putting this grease on here, and then, other thing, this has logos on it. We want to make sure they're facing the way you want them. I think it's got 3 logos, so I think I want 1 in the front and then 2 off on the back, kind of in a triangular shape. Wipe the grease off the fingers. Oh. So as I was getting ready to press that headset in, I realized I didn't want to press against the top cap of the headset. So I took that off, and then I didn't want to press against the bearing either, so I'm taking that out on both the top and the bottom, setting those down in different places here on my table so that I don't get those confused. But you don't want to put direct pressure into the bearing, because you could create divots in the bearing races, and that'll give you basically indexes in the steering, and that's just not a good way to steer. So we've taken that all apart, and we're going to put this back in a little bit better. If you noticed this piece here, I don't know if you can see it here, it's got these little steps in there. That is designed to fit specific areas in the headset. See how that doesn't fit all the way flush in there? It fits a specific width of that internal headset. That's what's supposed to be pressing on it. You're not supposed to be pressing on the bearing. So I was excited to film, so I wasn't really paying attention to that initially, but I caught myself, and now I'm correcting myself. So put this in here like so. We'll get this top part on. Again, make sure we're lined up the way we want to be lined up, with the logo in the front. Get the bottom piece in here with the bottom part of the headset press in here and aligned properly. Line that up so the logos are where I want them. And then start tightening this into place. All right, everything's firming up. Alignment's looking pretty good. All right, now we'll just press it in. Just double checking my alignment, make sure it's going in straight. Unfortunately, it's wanting to turn, so I'm going to put a tool on the bottom here, put a little wrench on that. And that is snug with the new headset in there. Take the tool out. Headset's in there looking good. We'll get those bearings into place where they were. Just drop right in. Bottom one in the bottom cup. Now let's get our fork on there. We already put the headset race on the fork, so it should just slide right in. Top cap on. Again, try to align those logos so everything lines up nice. Or put the logos however you want them, that's up to you. I like them like that. And with that, Going to put the top cap on, and that's just going to keep it from the fork from falling out, because I don't have any spacers or anything in there or stem in there yet. So as I mock it up, we're going to weigh the parts that we're going to put on, and at this point we're looking at using these red headset spacers. So let's see what these are going to weigh. 7 grams. Not sure how well that comes up on the screen there on the camera, but so 6 grams. 6 grams what I'm showing. All right. Next thing is the stem itself. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this zip stem. It might be a tad long. It's 120 millimeter, and I'm much more confident in like 90 to 100 millimeter, but maybe I'm going to want a longer raced out, reached forward position. So at 148 grams, it's not super heavy, not super light either, but that's what we're going to mock it up with at this point. So let's put them on. So we're going to take the headset spacers, press the fork up into the frame, drop the headset spacers on, put our stem on. I'm putting it taller for that little bit more upright riding position. And then we'll put our top cap on. Now you'll notice I've got a little bit of steer tube sticking up there, and that's okay because our top cap has a recess area that allows for that. So it will work perfectly with a little bit of stem coming up, or a little bit of steer tube coming up, and compress everything in here nicely. Doesn't have to be super tight, just a little snug. So there you have it. The headset's installed, the fork's installed, and we're ready to keep moving forward on the build process. Tell me how you think it looks so far in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing what people think about how this is coming together. If you want to see how it continues to look, please like and subscribe the video to follow along. And we'll see you next time here on Hemingway's Playground.